Welcome back, you guys. We're here for episode 2. So let's jump in. I find our load file. Alright, here we are. Right. I expected as much given all the snow. The woman I presume was Miss Kiki replied. I'm happy to receive any customers, no matter how late they may arrive. Business has been slow. What do you expect? She asked, with a touch of array amusement into her tone. Her voice was soft, but there was a certain bite to it, some hardness I was not able to pin down. Perhaps a touch of hardness was only to be expected coming from a woman who had lived in this inn high up in the mountains for so very long. Had she been sober, I wondered when her husband was still alive. I would never know. Ooh, she kind of cute. Nah, she ain't that really cute. Now, Miss Kiki, how can I describe her? Dead inside. Words failed me at the time, and they fail me even now. I suppose if I had to put a single word to it, she was beautiful. But that wasn't entirely right. She was the kind of woman who had been beautiful once, beautiful enough to drive men to distraction, but old age had tempered some of her beauty, softened the edges, so it was no longer as acute, piercing effect. That was a good thing, I think. Such beauty can be used as a weapon, like an arrow, but this was an arrow whose tip had been sand smooth. Her hair was dark and glossy, cut into a neat bob reminiscent of a kokeshi doll. It was an unusual choice for an older woman. She must have been in her 40s, but that only served to heighten my interest in her. Look, you are a married man. You need to stop it. Her eyes were the color of roasted tea leaves, and they were lined with thick, long lashes. When she blinked, her lashes fluttered in a beguiling manner that cast shadows against her face. Her skin was pale, and though there were some wrinkles around her no, around her mouth, it was unblemished, save for two small moles no bigger than pinheads beneath her right eye. She wore a modest kimono of muted colors and stood there regally, her hands held at her front. If looked at from afar, one could have been forgiven for thinking she was 10 or 20 years younger than she really was. But time waits for no man. At any rate, Miss Kiki didn't seem to be the kind of person who steeped herself in her own nostalgia. Everything about her, from her tone of voice to the way she stood, suggested she was far too sensible to bother with such nonsense. She wasn't sentimental. Something about her posture almost seemed to defy sentiment. She wasn't like me. I suppose we were quite a poor match. In any event, I hope you enjoy your stay at Azumi Inn, said Miss Kiki. It was a line she must have delivered many times, and she said it beautifully, like a skilled artisan might pluck a heart-rending melody from a koto. I must confess I felt rather abashed. I had been imagining in my city-born and bred hubris that the folk who raised in the countryside were simpler than I, somehow. Oh yeah, he is snobbish. I had been wrong. Yeah, nigga, you ain't all that. I am... I'm gonna say her name right. Hold on. I am Kaikuichi Keio. Oh, I like Keio. She said, by means of making my acquaintance, though there was a certain reticence to her tone. It's nice to meet you. Likewise, I said, bowing my head. My name is Tanabe. Tanabe Iji. Mr. Tanabe, Miss Kate, Miss Kiki repeated with a small nod of her head. When she said my name, commonplace though it was, its properties seemed to change in some curious manner. European alchemists might have striven for years to turn base metals into gold, but Miss Kiki had succeeded in a certain kind of tomandry of her own. Well, if I need to introduce myself further, I have been running the Azami Inn for some 14 years, even since the death of my husband. I'm sure Yosuke has told you about that already. He might have mentioned a thing or two, yes. One sec, you guys. I need water. My voice. Oh my god, that feels so much better. Okay, sorry. I know what people around here say. They enjoy their gossip. There's not much else to gossip about. I don't think Mr. Hornaby meant anything by it. He was just making conversation. At my expense of my dignity, I don't doubt, Miss Kiki, icily. Though Yosuke hadn't said anything incriminating, I found myself feeling guilty, as if I had conspired against her. Well, nigga, y'all been talking shit behind her back, so, whatever. Let us move on from this subject, she said, noticing my discomfort. It is unpleasant, particularly after such a long journey now. Miss Kiki explained the general running of the inn to me, when meals were prepared, where the hot springs were, and who to speak to if I had a complaint, while I nodded dumbly, stunned into silence. So, she said, once she had finished her short business spiral, I trust this is satisfactory? That is more than satisfactory, thank you. I stuttered. Why was I stuttering? Being around Miss Kiki, held under the steady gaze of her dark brown eyes, had the most incredible effect upon me. I felt not like a grown man with two sons, but a naughty child being scolded by my father for playing too zealously about the Zelkova tree in our garden. Miss Kiki was probably a few years younger than I, but she regarded me archly, like one who had been seeing far more than I could ever imagine. I know it might sound rather harsh, but I understood immediately why the residents of the nearby village didn't like her very much. She was not a likable woman. But you like her. I shall get Reiko to show you into your room. She may as well make herself useful, said Miss Kiki. With that declaration, the proprietress turned, her bobbed hair fluttering, and called out in tones that would have made an emperor balk. Reiko, we have a customer. There was a shuddering of feet as Reiko hastened to answer her mother's call. I pictured her as skinny, uncomfortably so, with big eyes and lips pulled into a permanent frown, her head bent and her gait stumbling. But the Reiko who answered Miss Kiki's son was rather different. My imagination had betrayed me yet again. Oh, what she look like? Ooh, she was rather young. That was much was true. Still a teenager, I suppose. And she was slight, but not in an awkward manner. Oh, she looks like a little wren. Her limbs were pale and slender, and she moved like a little ballerina. Oh, she's adorable. Yes, you called, Mother? She looked just like Miss Kiki did, or had done, I imagine, before old age had been seen fit to sap away her youthful charm. Reiko even had a beauty mark beneath her eye, though it was located under her left, not her right. Other than that, it was almost perfect facsimile of her mother, like she was some kind of copy. A homunculus child raised in a glass jar. He was really in depth with his words. But these thoughts were rather too fastful. This is Mr. Tanabe, said Miss Kiki, gesturing towards me. He was recently arrived from Tokyo. Can you take his bag and show him to his room? It's the one you were preparing earlier, on the west side. Of course, said Reiko with a small bow of her head. I shall do it at once. She bent to pick up my bag before brushing the sleeve of her kimono to one side when... No, that will never do. Reiko flinched at the reprimand. She was now halfway between retrieving my case and standing straight. The sleeves of her kimono were still rolling back, and I could see her arm. They were as pale as the snow that fell outside, shot through her delicate blue veins. Though I wanted to, I could not bring myself to look away. When you are picking up luggage, Reiko, you shouldn't let your sleeve bunch up above about your elbow. It's unseemly, said Miss Kiki. I, I'm sorry. Don't apologize, said Miss Kiko coolly. For I have told you this time and time again. Try to remember next time, please. All right. Reiko sounded so despondent. Any words of reassurance I might have thought to offer died on my tongue. I had already divined during the most perfunctory of greetings that her mother scolded her quite a lot. Okay. I know I. Okay, we're just gonna stop right here. And now that we've been introduced to Reiko and Miss Kiki, Miss Kiki seems like a hard ass. So, what do y'all think of the relationship between mother and daughter? Do you think the daughter is in any immediate danger, or do you think Miss Kiki is misunderstood? So let me know down in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys in the next one.